Hey, it's Sophia Wren. I am a writer, a business owner, and I am a coach for you if you want to make faster progress writing for your book or your business. Let's talk. What does that mean? I don't know. Isn't it obvious what faster progress means? You think so, but there are some really big misconceptions that have people spinning their wheels, wasting their time when time is of the essence and they really want to go fast. I've been there, and let me tell you the lessons that I've learned on my 20+ year journey publishing online as a writer and over 10 years as a business owner. Let's go. Let me just back up and just tell you a teeny bit about me. I am that girl who in middle school knew the rule was you can't run in the hallway. So I was speed walking as quickly as I could. And that's kind of an analogy of how I was in my life for many years, including when I started my business. I was off to the races, ready to make money, ready to support myself and have the ability to not work under a boss. And I really wanted it to be something that I was passionate about, that I loved, which is what brought me to writing. And then eventually coaching writing, teaching writing, all these things. But it started with me just spreading the word about who I was and getting my foot in the door. And I tried basically everything under the sun to get my business going. And so I know a lot about making progress or trying to make progress and actually wasting a ton of my time. I know there were many years where I was spending tons of money on coaches and courses, as well as working over 50 hours a week. And I can't tell you that what I did really moved the needle all that much. Although, experimentation and failure is always a good lesson in the end, in some form or fashion. But I wish I had learned those lessons a little bit earlier. So let me tell you what those lessons were. Okay, so let's talk about what progress is not. When it comes to progress, we have some misconceptions about what that means. And it's kind of overblown what our perceptions about productivity really are. The thing that we are all trying to do when you are sitting around feeling like you're lazy, a sack of poo, that you're not doing enough, your mind is telling you that productivity is where you should be and it should look a certain way. And these judgments and these perceptions can guide our actions. But the thing is that we need to look through the myths and illusions about what productivity and progress really are, because they can actually lead us in the wrong direction. And that is something that I struggled with for a long time, because I had a really hard time just sitting still, sitting on my hands. I needed to feel like I was in motion, and I needed to be checking things off. So that's the first misconception, is that checking off tasks equals productivity, when really you might just be feeling like you need to check things off for the sake of it. For instance, one of the examples we could use is posting on social media. Some people don't do it, so you can ignore this, but many of us who are entrepreneurs or writers or creators feel like we need to market ourselves, we need to spread the word about ourselves, we need to build an audience by using social media, which is something that I did daily for almost a decade. And I can tell you that I did so with very little return in some ways. Now, I am grateful for everything that I got from that experience. I got a lot of experience writing, a lot of experience marketing. I learned a lot of things that didn't work, and I did form some connections. But for the amount of effort that I put in, we could divide it up with the money and the good things I got, and I could really have done less. I can look at all of the hours that I spent, divide it out with the return, and I would tell you that a lot of it was not the best use of my time, okay? Especially in the very beginning of my business, I know that I was kind of habitually on social media, and it is a vehicle that feeds on you being there, and it feeds on you adding additional content. So it will suck up all the time that you have if you let it, and that is one of the dangers of using social media. So if you feel like, I need to be posting, I need to be commenting, I need to be there, be careful of how much time you're spending on it, and also ask yourself periodically, am I getting a return on this investment of time and energy? So it is an example of being busy that you may not actually get a return that is the size of the amount of effort you put in. So be careful about things like that our time sucks. Another thing is just being available in general to other people. So for instance, like when you get an email, you may immediately respond, which is great. It's wonderful, customer service to be able to do that. But just be mindful of, if you're doing that all throughout the day, you're losing a lot of time. So you need to be watching where your time is going and what you're getting for that time. And also just be aware that sometimes you need to separate yourself from the pack, separate yourself from the things that the culture around you is prioritizing, because it's not right for you. Well, there's a book that is called Slow Productivity that has come out talking about these different misconceptions around productivity, and I haven't read the whole book, but I will say I read the beginning, and I think it's captured these ideas really well. If you want to read more about that, you can go check it out. But just be wary of the trends or the things you may see or the things you may have learned from school or work or your family, and what they have taught you about what productivity should look like. And if your mind is yelling at you for not following that trend, it might not necessarily mean you're on the wrong track. So be a little bit loose with your hold of some of those ideas, and re-examining them might help you actually make faster progress in the end, even if it doesn't look like being productive in the way you were taught, at least. So I want to just tell you this because it's so important to reevaluate productivity and your relationship to it, because burnout can be really huge. I was just reading an article today about how long it can take you to recover from burnout. So that hamster wheel of doom that we can get stuck in trying to make progress by being constantly busy can ultimately be unsustainable and lead you to be sunk energetically, so you can't get anything done for a long time, or just really lower your capacity. As somebody who has struggled with burnout, I know all about this, and I will say it is worth it for you to go a little bit slower and be a little bit more mindful about where you put your energy, so that way you don't end up shooting yourself in the foot long term by getting burned out. So that's what faster progress is not in my book. In the Sophia book, that busyness hamster wheel is not faster progress, really. It really isn't. Okay, let's talk about what it really is in my book anyway. So, redefining faster progress. The shift is going from looking at it in terms of quantity, like hours worked, number of things checked off, number of social media posts, and instead looking at quality. It's about moving the needle and focusing on what really matters so that you can make meaningful progress. And it will happen more quickly by you being very intentional about your time, so that something that might have taken you, countless hours of throwing spaghetti against the wall to figure out, if you just took a minute to really think through something, you might be able to, yes, take a little longer in the planning, but have the execution of it happen more quickly, and you'll have more time for other things in your life and experience less burnout. So an example of this is I could, let's say, sit down in some of my writing assignments I used to do, and I could just bang my head against the wall trying to write some of my copy for my clients, and it could take me multiple days. But I found that if I really was in tune with myself, and I really got clear on what I needed in order to be in my most creative space, I could go take a walk, take a bubble bath, go do something with a friend, and then sit down and write and get it out in 20 minutes. And there's a certain magic when you recognize that there is a big difference between making progress by just being busy and working smarter, not harder. So once you get to learn about your creative process, you'll be able to kind of hack the process that way and have a better life and have better work as well. Second, also, when you take the time to plan, reflect on the past, and pivot by instituting a practice of reviewing things every week or every month or every quarter or every year, and really check in with yourself, and you're really honest about how things are going, how you're feeling about it, what your results are, you're able to pivot and avoid sinking a lot of time into things that aren't working and trying other things instead. So if you were to take like a week to think about everything on your plate and what really matters, that might end up being a way better use of your time rather than just spending months being busy throwing spaghetti against the wall. And the thing is that we are in different headspaces when you are executing on all your ideas and when you are prioritizing them. So sometimes you have to stop doing things in order to get into a bigger framed headspace, bigger picture headspace, so you can really see what matters, when you can really evaluate things objectively and step out of the hustle. Your brain can expand and you can literally get out of survival mode and use your whole mind and wisdom, and you can come at things from another direction that can be a lot more effective. Because when you're in hustle mode, when you're in busy mode, it can, at least for me, can really trigger my nervous system, fight or flight, and I'm just not thinking with the same brain as I do when I'm curled up with a cup of coffee, thinking about the big picture. So it's so important to get that perspective and to learn how to prioritize things. If you have a lot of ideas, if you have a business, if you're a writer, there's a million different things you can do, and it's really important to find that perspective. It will be the game changer. It really will. The game changer is not doing all of the things forever. It is having moments of aha and doing the right things at the right time. I always say that when you're digging for treasure, it's not all about digging a deep hole really fast in the first place you think to put your shovel. Actually, it's about taking time to figure out where on the map the treasure is and then digging a hole. Even if you were to take a day finding that spot, it would be better than you spending all 24 hours digging holes all over the place in the wrong place, right? And you'll be a lot more fatigued. So think of it like that. Are you digging in the right place, or are you just digging a deep hole really fast? Take some time to find the right place for you, your priorities. Okay, so if you haven't already gotten into the habit of reflecting, give yourself that gift, schedule it into your week or your month or even your day, and know that it is safe and okay for you to stop hustling enough to reflect on where you're actually putting your energy. It will sometimes at the beginning feel like you're wasting your time or this is taking too long, but believe me, you'll be really grateful that you made this shift counter to whatever your instinct may be as a hustle bunny, if you're anything like me. And it might also help you to have a coach or someone to talk to who has some more information than you, who's been through this journey before, who can see your blind sides and see when you're just kind of wasting energy rather than really getting to the heart of what you need to do. Now, don't worry, if this all sounds like a lot and you don't really know how to find your priority, I've come up with a program to help you to make faster progress writing for your book or your business. So if you're feeling like you have a lot of ideas, so much so that you're overwhelmed or you're stuck or you're just not making the progress that you want to make, I would be happy to help you, and it's at a discounted rate right now. This program will help you to find clarity every week of the fall of the next 2 months. You'll be able to find your priority every step of the way so you know where to dig to get the most out of your time and energy, so that way you know what will move the needle for you. And then each week we will check up, so you'll have that accountability over email or over voicemails, and you don't have to meet with me over the phone, so it won't take time out of your week to schedule a call. It's perfect for somebody who's really busy. And also, if you could use some editing help with your copywriting for your website, your blog, your book, your nonfiction book, you can get up to 6 pages of edits from me by submitting them each week. All right, so if you're ready to break free from overwhelm and make real faster progress, then let's talk, reach out to me to discuss it, and we can see if we're a right fit to go forward. Remember, faster progress is not just about checking off a long list of things as quickly as possible so that you're panting and huffing and puffing and burning out. It's about greater intentionality. It's about spending a little bit more time to gain clarity. It's about leveraging your time and energy more powerfully so that you can move the needle in a meaningful way, and you can make these strides while still enjoying your life. It is possible. And there's a sweet spot where everything is just getting better. So I hope you like these ideas about productivity and that they've given you something to think about where you might have gotten off track, where you might have been wasting your time, and where to lean in a little bit harder, even if you're getting a lot of messages that contradict this. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment, and you'll find all the links to contact me about the Rapid Progress 2-month program below, as well as other information. Thank you so much for watching.